G'day, g'day guys. Okay, here's another one. This is another one this week where I'm trying to show you how you can create good looking layouts with minimal products. Now, what I decided to do today with this particular layout is I pulled out a, what was this one? This was VICKI BOUTIN Color Study Dots and Marks, it's called. Now, as you saw at the beginning, it's not a full sheet, but I'm going to create a beautiful layout using the leftover bits. Now, I normally just tear willy-nilly, but specifically today I wanted to make sure that I had minimum white showing and I had the color and the texture from the actual full sheet of paper. But because I was missing that chunk out of it, I had to think differently on my feet and figure out what to do. Now, what am I doing this week? Why am I doing this? I am doing this because I've had a call from more than one person. Okay, it's actually been about half a dozen, and people are asking me if I can create layouts using one, maybe two sheets of paper. See if I can do something like that and not make it all about the mixed media. So I said, you know what? Not a problem. This week I will do that. It doesn't mean I'm going to use no mixed media, but I want to explain my take on the term mixed media. Mixed media is, let's explain what it is. It is when you've created a layout and you're using or if you're using the word mixed media in a scrapbooking sense, when you're using multiple mediums, you create a mixed medium look. Okay, but we call it mixed media. I don't know why we call it mixed media when it's actually mixed mediums. But anyway, so I use everything from paints to gesso, texture pastes, papers, the whole 9 yards. But what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to show you that even just with one bit of a 12 by 12 sheet, you can still create a really good layout. Now, all I'm doing here is I'm only attaching the bottom end of it so I can fold up the edges. So that helps me create more texture. This particular sheet of paper actually has, there's dots on the other side of it, but on the side that you can see, it's got some cross hatching, a little bit of distressing. There's a bit, it sort of looks like cross-hatch stamping maybe on there, and the edges are a little bit more distressed than the rest of it. And I decided what I was going to do was cut them into strips to help create the illusion of lots and lots of texture. But I didn't want them to be all wonky donkey. I wanted them to be pretty much straight. So that's when I decided that I was going to go ahead, and I used my grid mat here to line my photos up beautifully, by the way. It doesn't always happen naturally. Sometimes it's a bit organic and it's a bit wonky donkey. So now you can see I'm using the rest of this piece to MacGyver myself a photo mat going across the 3 photos and just trimming it all off so it all sort of works together. And I'm using my large Tim Holtz. They're the 9-inch shears. That is the trick to getting nice straight edges on your layouts. When you're cutting photo mats. The secret is simple. Have long bladed scissors. And look at where you're cutting, not what you're about to cut. Now, what I'm using here, this is how I make my mica powders, okay? These are the ones that I use with my brush. I add that teeny tiny teaspoon. It's about 1/36 of a teaspoon. Doesn't matter what size you use, as long as you know that you use it 1 for 1. So 1 of whatever your measurement is of gum arabic powder to mica powder. That's all it takes. Now, I'm making up a bit of a shambly sort of color here. I'm adding a couple of different mica powders to see if I can get them to possibly look the way I want them to. I've added a bit of purple, a bit of a pink, and a bit of a rose sort of to try and bring it forward. The other color I am you can see the bottom of that one was, it had like a white shimmer to it. I'm just topping that up basically. So I wanted some more. So that's all I'm doing, just adding a little bit. Now in that bottle, I do have boiled water. So when these sit on my desk, the water will evaporate, but it shouldn't grow bugs and grubs because it's boiled water. Or you can use distilled water, but I just use boiled water. So it's at this point that I realize, okay, is that as dark as I want it? No. How am I going to get it to the color that I want it to be? Now, I realize that it's not quite right. So I have to add a little bit more color to it and see what happens. Now, the ratio of gum arabic to mica powder, I'm pretty sure I could probably push it out a lot further than I do. I think it doesn't really need to be 1-to-1. I think it can be a bit more mica to gum arabic. What it does is the gum arabic actually works as the glue. So it's actually food grade stuff. And I buy it in the powder form. That way it's shelf stable for as long as I want it to be. And it works a treat for me. All I'm using to stir it is my Fiskars, what's it called? When you score, your Fiskars scoreboard tool. That's what I was using to mix it up with. Now, so I did slide that bit down a little bit so you could actually see what I was doing. Now, this bit I've sped up because I'm using a tiny brush and I don't know why on earth I was using such a small brush. But I'm just mixing the colours together to get some shimmer and shine on here. And there's nothing special about it. I'm just splotching it down, mate. That's all I'm doing. So I'm literally just creating a frame pretty much with the pretty mica powders, and just to sort of see if it's what I like. Is it going where I want it to go? This is white cardstock. It's the Poppy Crafts white cardstock. It's the 240 GSM, and no, it doesn't have any gesso on there. I didn't really add a lot of liquid to the page. You can see that it has buckled a little bit, but I'm okay with that because I know the weight of my albums, when they get put together, if the page is slightly buckled, no one's going to care. So what else can I say? So this is where I pulled out my One Hot Mumma. That is a Shimmers colour. It is a Shimmers CREAMEEZ, and it's called One Hot Mumma. And it's the perfect colour to go with this particular layout. It matches the pink down the bottom perfectly. And it's giving me the pop that, like normally I would use black. Or if I'm using white, if I'm using a black background, I'd use white. That's what I'm doing here. So I've got the shimmers on there, but I'm putting One Hot Mumma on there as well, just to give you that pop of brightness. Because when you look at it, it's really hard because having the lights above me, it works well, but the problem I have with it is it's difficult to get you guys to see the true color. That's why I always do the zooming in at the very end so that you can, oh, sorry, that was my husband sneezing. It really helps sort of pull it all together in the end, which is good. But yeah, so I'm just drying it off to make sure, because I really didn't want that One Hot Mumma. I didn't want it to be smudged because I have the worst habit of doing that. If I give in to the splattery thing, I guaranteed I smudge them for sure every time. So what I did there is I pulled out some of the One Hot Mumma, which is the Shimmers color, and I put in some mica powder, my gum arabic one, and I just mixed them together, and it actually left me with a nice shimmery One Hot Mumma. That's what it left me with, which I was really happy with that. I've never done that before, and yeah, like I said, this is a super duper simple layout. It's not brain surgery, this one, but at the end of the day, it looks really effective and I'm really happy with it. Now, I pulled in my darkroom door stickers. These are called mini marks, and I will have the number below in case you want to find it and order it for yourself. I think if you speak to Cass and Jacques, if you're after this one, they will definitely help you out with that. Now I'm using my embossing pad, my embossing ink pad, and I'm just going around the layout, just adding some sticky down, and then I'm pulling out my Hero Arts white embossing powder, and I'm just using one of the other VICKI BOUTIN papers as a little trivet to get it back in the bottle. I absolutely love watching this process. I could watch melting embossing all day, every day. And I'm just creating a different pattern on top of, there was no rhyme nor reason to it. It was just get it down there and get it sprayed on. And I absolutely love embossing powder. I love playing with it. It's so much fun. So yeah, so there you go. I just showed you really quickly then the Emboss It powder and the Hero Arts white embossing powder. It's actually a really fine one. I've said it before, I'll say it again. All embossing powders are not made equal. Some just are more white than others. Some are more staticky and stick to things more. The Hero Arts one, highly recommend that one. It's really good. So now I'm just sticking down my photos. These are just everyday photos that I took of Jen when she was little, and she was always in front of the camera. It was so cute. And her little foot, I used to love like touching her little squishy feet. She hated it, but I loved it. It was so cute. Just love them. So I'm going ahead and trimming off a 1/4 inch on 2 sides. That will give me room to add an extra bit of border. And it's at this point that I wanted to go to town with all my bling and all my bits and pieces, and then I stopped myself and went, no, that's not what this is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be keeping it simple. So I pulled out a sheet of white textured cardstock, which is the American Crafts one, and I pulled out one hot mama and a paintbrush, and I created the border that I wanted, and I know it's going to match perfectly. So yeah, this is how I do it, and sometimes that is just all the layout needs, is a little bit more of a pop of colour. So I was really happy with this, and obviously cleaning up my mess as I go, because otherwise it's just going to go everywhere. I'm going to contaminate stuff. My heat tool got a really good workout today. So I actually managed to get 3 videos done today, and 3 concepts all worked for me, which was really good. So see that pink? It just makes it pop. I know there's a lot of pink on the layout, but it just helps make it pop. It's really good. So now what am I doing now? Oh, I was hunting. This is where I actually paused the camera, and then I came back because I was hunting for a title, and I was going to cut one out on the Cricut, and I thought, well, no, that sort of defeats the purpose about keeping it simple. So today I have decided to just do titles from my thickers collections, from my stickers, and that's what I decided to do, because this week is all about keeping it simple. So I pulled these out. Now I have been trying to use these stickers. I love them, but they just never seem to work on a layout. Well, guess what? Today was the day I managed to get it to work. So it must have been because it was freezing this morning. It's really cold now already. I've done all the mummy duties, pick kids up from training, all that sort of stuff. And I'm back in the studio, and I'm just doing myself a little bit of a favor and getting these voiceovers done. So I love how that looks. I bought the puffy stickers thinking that I would really love them, but I really struggled to use them. I really, really do, because it's not my style normally. So here's the close-ups, guys. I'm going to do the shameless plug. If you're watching my channel and you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe. It's free and it helps my channel out big time. And if you like what you see, if you've got value out of my videos, please give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment. All those things help the channel, and that costs you absolutely nothing. Zip, nada. Thank you so much for watching, and I will chat to you again soon, guys. Bye for now.